Ally McBeal, Farrah, and Judge Judy on Entertainment Tonight.
Turning the tide of managed health care. A big HMO backs down and says doctors, not managers, now will decide on treatment. Researchers open a new line of attack against heart disease, the nation's #1 killer. And Microsoft, still alive and clicking, the Monday after the judge's monopoly case findings.
This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. It could be the first wave of a tidal shift in managed health care policies affecting millions of Americans and HMOs. The country's second biggest HMO confirmed today that it will shift the responsibility from managers to doctors in decisions about patient care and treatment. This follows months of big money lobbying by HMOs and their allies in Congress against giving patients and doctors more say over HMO decisions and even the right to sue. CBS's Jim Axelrod begins our coverage of this potentially far-reaching change.
It's long been complaint #1 for the 80 million people enrolled in HMOs, that an insurance company employee could overrule a physician. Now United Health Group, the nation's second largest health insurer, is giving doctors the final say on treatment.
It's an evolutionary leap for United Healthcare, but we definitely believe it's a revolution for the industry.
This change is about economics as much as medicine. It cost United Health $100 million a year to run a review system which turned down only a fraction of requests.
We know that 99.1% of all requests for authorizations are approved, which really demonstrates that we're paying over $100 million in salaries and infrastructure costs to say yes.
I think it's an idea whose time has come.
Surrounded by his all-consuming paperwork, Dr. Bree Benjamin is applauding United Health. An internist for 45 years, he says his staff spends 30% of its time seeking approval from HMOs for patient treatment.
I also am a patient, too, and I have the same trouble with my doctor, whom I like, who wants to treat me nicely, but he's under the same gun.
In the last few years, only IRS has rivaled HMO as America's most hated three-letter abbreviation. While consumer complaints may have fueled HMO reform efforts on Capitol Hill, United Health's new policy may end up changing the healthcare business more than any new law.
I think if they're able to show that they can do this and average premiums just don't rise next year, I think the industry is going to have to follow this.
The popularity of HMOs was built on promises of reduced costs through rigid reviews. Tonight, one insurer has decided they can't have both, and an industry may be changed for good. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
Joining us now for context and perspective about how this may affect you is Dr. Bernadine Healy, our CBS News medical consultant and president now of the American Red Cross. Dr. Healy, does this move by a big HMO have anything to do with the push for and against the Patient's Bill of Rights in Congress?
I think a great deal to do with it, because one of the big rights that's on the table is expanded rights for patients to sue their HMO and managed care programs. And remember, one of the biggest things that managed care and HMO has done is insert themselves into the decision-making process of medicine, namely to deny care, to overrule doctors, and often to overrule doctors at the end of a phone line, not seeing the patient, not seeing their records, and without a medical license. So they are very vulnerable if patients get that right.
Now, what, if any, role did public opinion play in having this large HMO organization do such a U-turn?
Oh, I think public opinion is a very strong factor here, and the public doesn't like the word HMO or managed care. It's taken on a very, very bad name. They're seen as adversaries of patients. So I think if they give up the decision-making authority and they actually just review what happened after the fact, they could theoretically become advocates of patients rather than adversaries.
Dr. Bernadine Healy, thanks. The judge in the Microsoft antitrust suit has given the software giant until January to respond to his preliminary findings of fact that the company does indeed operate as a monopoly. That means the judge's final ruling won't come until at least February. Microsoft investors spent the weekend waiting anxiously for the stock ticker to start running. Anthony Mason spent the day tracking Microsoft and the market.
Stage 500 14.
Even before the opening bell, Microsoft was taking a beating. The stock plunged $11 in early overseas trading.
I think it's an understandable reaction to sell first and ask questions later, and that's what we had.
It was the first reaction to Judge Jackson's blistering opinion that Microsoft has used its 90% monopoly on computer operating systems to quash innovation, stifle its competition, and harm consumers. But the price of America's most widely held technology stock quickly recovered after analysts like J.P. Morgan's Bill Epifanio urged investors to buy.
I think you're looking at Microsoft as a company that has very, very strong fundamentals that have remained undamaged as a result of this trial.
Even the company's worst-case scenario, a court-ordered breakup, some analysts believe could actually benefit investors.
Much like we saw at the AT&T divestiture.
It's been 15 years since we marked
Passing of the Bell system.
when 7 baby bells were spun off from Ma Bell, AT&T. Shareholders got a piece of each and a healthy profit. So says analyst Burj Ivasian, don't worry about Microsoft.
No, in fact, I would hold on to it with the likelihood that you're likely to see Microsoft broken up into two companies and you'd own shares in both.
Incidentally, a $60 share of AT&T from 1984 is worth $560 today. Now, Microsoft ended the day down just $1 and change. But in a sign of how edgy investors were, 120 million shares of Microsoft change hands today. Dan?
Anthony, Microsoft became one of the stocks in the Dow Jones average just a week ago, and today the Dow closed up 14 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index was up 41 points to another new record high. More than a week after Egypt Air 990 plunged to the ocean floor 60 miles off the U.S. coast, a new effort is underway today to retrieve the jet's flight data and voice recorders. This effort now involves bringing in a second, more sophisticated deep-diving drone. CBS's Bob Orr reports why.
After a frustrating weekend that saw recovery operations halted by bad weather, the U.S. Navy ship Grapple tonight is headed back to the crash site to resume the quest for the black boxes from Egypt Air 990. This time, the Grapple has some high-powered help. A privately owned ship, the Carolyn Schwest, is already on scene, and late today put its own submersible robot in the water. That remote-operated drone, similar to this one, most recently has been used for underwater oil pipeline work in the Gulf of Mexico. But the retrieval of the boxes will be difficult. For the first time today, investigators detailed the underwater crash site. Cameras on Grapple's deep drone have revealed at least 2 large piles of wreckage, and investigators fear the boxes may be encased in a jumble of debris and silt.
I can only say that it's very fragmented, and part of the difficulty, I think, in retrieving the recorders has been the fact that most of the parts we're working with are very small.
The flight recorders are critical because the small bits of wreckage recovered so far have provided few clues. The NTSB has found no obvious sign of an airplane failure, and the FBI to this point has come up dry as well.
We have absolutely no indication of any criminal activity as it pertains to Flight 990.
Investigators who badly need a break in this case may get one with the weather. We're told the next 2 days are expected to be very good for recovery operations. And that might be enough time to pick up the boxes and with them, possibly, the first real clues as to what went wrong. Dan?
Thanks, Bob. Still to come on the CBS Evening News, high school students expelled for fighting fight back with a high-profile ally. Tracking the hot spots of heart disease inside a patient's body. And time's running out to catch the Y2K bug on CBS's Countdown to 2000.
I knew I was in for the fight of my life, but I was ready.
When my husband and his friends start exchanging fish stories, it's the phone bill that can turn into a whopper.
I fought this monster for hours. First I had the upper hand, then he took control.
That's why we always dial 10-10-321. With 10-10-321, calls over 10 minutes are 50% off. That's just 8 cents a minute. Daytime, nighttime, anytime.
I'll tell you, it was like a whale.
Yeah?
You should have seen it.
Well, let me tell you about my trip.
Dial 10-10-321 and talk as long as you want, whenever you want.
Enterprise? You rented our car from Enterprise?
Yeah.
Why Enterprise?
Because they pick us up. Free.
A free pickup? Wow. They ought to be #1.
They are #1.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up. Want to color your gray beard or mustache and look natural? Get Just for Men Gel.
You look so natural, no one can tell. With Just for Men Gel.
Brush in and in 5 minutes, gray is gone.
No one can tell. With Just for Men Gel.
I need strong arthritis relief. I want soft skin. Now I get both.
Introducing new Arthricare hand and body lotion. Fast relief of minor arthritis pain plus special skin softeners. Arthricare lotion. Pain relief plus moisturizers.
All in one.
Max is a mighty dog. That's why he gets new Mighty Dog carved beef and gravy. Tender slices and savory gravy to give Max all the energy he needs. New Mighty Dog carved beef and carved beef with pasta. Mighty Dog from Friskies.
All 3 high schools in Decatur, Illinois were closed today as the town stood divided over an incident of school violence and rumblings, nothing definitive, but rumblings of racism. Even the black teens involved in the fight admit their behavior was wrong, but some in the community question whether the predominantly white school board was acting out of prejudice when it expelled them. CBS's Cynthia Bowers reports.
Today, tactics from the civil rights era are being applied to a very modern-day problem: how to handle school violence.
No guns, no bombs, no conspiracy, no drugs, 2 years suspension. That's unfair.
Despite pressure from the Reverend Jesse Jackson and intervention by Governor George Ryan, the school board seems to be standing firm on its position: zero tolerance for violence of any kind, and on its punishment, 2-year expulsions for a fistfight.
The punishment does fit the crime. This is unacceptable conduct that called for strong measures to prevent the recurrence of this tragedy.
Even the kids involved acknowledge their behavior was unacceptable. A fistfight broke out here in the stands at Eisenhower High School during a football game 2 months ago, causing so much commotion, play was stopped on the field. But since no one was injured and no weapons were involved, many are wondering if there isn't a better solution than kicking the kids out of school.
I think 2 years for a fist fight's a little ridiculous. To be honest with you, there's been fist fights at ball games for as long as I can remember.
Carl McCown and his neighbor both believe race is an issue. The school board is predominantly white. The expelled students are black. One of them, Roosevelt Fuller, a senior honor student and basketball star who witnesses say was an innocent bystander, sees his once bright future fading.
If you could have anything at this point, what would it be?
High school, education, basketball, just basically my regular life back.
After meeting for more than 7 hours today, the Reverend Jackson and the Decatur School Board were unable to agree on a solution. An emergency school board meeting is underway at this hour, and the Reverend Jackson is promising if things are not resolved to his satisfaction, he will march on the school tomorrow. Dan?
Next on the CBS Evening News, a whole new approach to finding and treating heart disease on the CBS Health Watch.
A lot of people have allergies. I have multi-symptom nasal allergies. It's the sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. It's all of it. I told my doctor, I've had it. I want an allergy medicine made for my kind of allergies. He prescribed multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves all nasal allergy symptoms all day and night.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
Look at all these laxatives. They all contain stimulants. That one says it may cause cramps. Only Phillips is stimulant-free. Nothing's more effective, nothing safer.
So I've heard. Phillips, safe, effective relief without harsh stimulants.
Attention ladies in aisle 4. Getting the nutrition you'd like out of that cereal?
Yeah?
Because you'd need 4 boxes to get the folic acid in 1 box of total.
Big appetite.
Excuse me. 12 boxes to equal the zinc in total.
Need another coupon?
And you. Even 25 boxes couldn't equal the vitamin E in total.
Express Lane? I don't think so.
Only Total has 100% of 10 vitamins and minerals. No other leading cereal comes close.
We'll take the Total.
Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. What are you getting for breakfast?
2 large double cheese.
It's about time. I'm starving.
Whoa, that can't be cable.
It's DirecTV. You get all your favorite cable channels.
Kung Pao.
And it's the only service that gives you access to every pro and college sports subscription.
Donuts.
Plus now, you get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels, including 7 HBO, 4 Stars, and 5 Showtime channels with no long-term commitments.
DirecTV. What are you looking at?
Okay, who ate the remote?
On the CBS Health Watch tonight, there may be a new and better way to detect heart disease and even treat it before it's too late. As CBS's Elizabeth Caledon reports, it's a matter of degrees involving a new high-tech thermometer and an unusual theory about the nature of heart disease.
64-year-old Victor Haid has done everything right. He quit smoking, controls his cholesterol, and eats sensibly. But after 5 angioplasties and bypass surgery, he is still plagued by heart disease. Victor represents a big mystery to cardiologists like David Vorsheimer,
Fast heartbeats, do you feel those anymore?
who are taking a fresh look at the underlying causes of heart disease and believe the real culprit in causing heart attacks may be inflammation in the arteries. As it does in any infection, the body uses inflammation to attack disease. In the case of arteries, it forms around the blockages called plaques, often caused by high cholesterol and smoking. Doctors now believe the arteries most likely to rupture, causing heart attacks, are areas where there is the most inflammation.
The big dilemma today in cardiology is whether inflammation is the chicken or the egg. In other words, is the inflammation a separate risk factor in addition to the other ones, or is inflammation the way the other risk factors channel their damaging effects onto the artery walls?
The other dilemma is how to find inflamed arteries before they cause trouble. Cardiologists in Texas believe they've figured that out.
We had this simple idea that an inflamed area would be hot.
In the same way that infection often leads to fever, Dr. Ward Cassels and Dr. James Willerson followed a hunch and found that inflamed arteries were, in fact, 1 to 4 degrees warmer than healthy arteries.
We reason that the detection of this temperature difference will allow us to predict the arteries at risk to rupture, leading to heart attacks and strokes.
It may sound like a simple notion, but actually taking the temperature of arteries has never been done before and is not so simple. To do it, researchers here at the Texas Heart Institute have developed 2 devices, prototypes, which they hope can one day be used in people. One is a catheter which can be wired into the artery and expanded to measure temperature. The other uses infrared technology to potentially give doctors a look at what's hot and what's not.
We really have not had any other way to detect the vulnerable plaque with certainty.
Using catheters to pinpoint risky arteries is still years away, but doctors believe inflammation holds the key to tackling what remains the nation's #1 killer. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, New York.
Also on the cutting edge of heart disease treatment, medical researchers in Boston report success in growing test tube heart valves from a few of a patient's own heart valve cells. This is pretty amazing stuff. Tests on animals show that unlike mechanical or donated valves, these can grow normally in young recipients as their hearts get bigger and they're less prone to wear out or cause dangerous blood clots. Still ahead on CBS, turning personal tragedy into action. The parents of a murdered gay student plead for tougher action against the crime.
My business runs on long hours and the leave. I can't settle for those pain relievers that quit too soon. Just 2 Aleve are strong enough to work all day. I used to need 8 Tylenol to do that. There's a tool for every job. For tough pain, it's Aleve.
It's time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
You know, people still ask me about the crash. tired of talking about the crash. I mean, first of all, it wasn't even really a crash. 1929. That was a crash.
Yeah, that was bad.
Maybe it was more like a market correction, typically defined by like 10, 20% drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which we consider the economic factors that are affecting the current risk premiums.
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
I guess it's not that surprising.
we created a smarter kind of investor.
What do you know about expense ratios?
An expense ratio is a percentage.
A significant discovery in eye health may be lutein, a nutrient found in these healthy foods. Now Centrum has the only leading multivitamins with lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Centrum Silver, now more complete with lutein.
No, this isn't a jeans commercial. It's about constipation. You're bloated, not yourself. Your size 10s feel like 2s.
FiberCon has natural fiber action to relieve bloating constipation.
I'm myself again.
FiberCon, be regular, be yourself.
Fugitive Saudi millionaire Osama bin Laden is reportedly pouring money now into another conflict, this time supporting Islamic rebels in Chechnya. CBS News national security correspondent David Martin says U.S. intelligence believes bin Laden is financing between 100 and 500 mercenaries from the Middle East and the Balkans in the Chechens' war to get away from Russia. The parents of a murdered gay college student were in Washington today to lobby for federal hate crimes legislation. The vicious killing of Matthew Shepard brought outrage nationwide and calls for tougher laws. The two men who beat Matthew and left him to die on the Wyoming prairie are now serving life sentences. Dennis Shepard said passage of the Hate Crimes Prevention Act would be a fitting legacy for his son.
This is the one piece of unfinished business that we have now that the trial is over. We need to do this for Matthew and for everybody else, and to keep this from happening again.
Dennis Shepard also said that with the killers locked away, the time for healing has begun. Coming up next on CBS Countdown to 2000, how real is the threat from the Y2K computer bug?
Labor of love took on a whole new meaning when Kyle was born. 12 hours of labor.
One of life's most joyful moments can also be one of its most painful. But take comfort, as so many women have, in Tylenol, the pain reliever doctors and hospitals choose most.
Come meet your little brother.
Hello. Tylenol, take comfort in our strength.
When you were a kid, did you carry a lunchbox? Who was on it? Was it Sir Isaac Newton? Was it Abraham Lincoln? Or was it Evel Knievel? Introducing the new, redesigned 2000 Mitsubishi Montero Sport. For the hyperactive 9-year-old in all of us.
Great meal. Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster.
Hey, want to go for ice cream?
Gas X, the power to fight gas fast.
Dr. Scholl's next stop, San Francisco.
Let's talk about feet.
I do have corn.
I've tried Band-Aids. They don't get rid of the corn.
This is Dr. Scholl's Cushion Gel Corn Removers. The Cushion Gel relieves the pain.
The medicated disc removes the corn.
It just feels so much better.
Well, my work here is done. To find the perfect gift for the barbecue lover in your life, at Gifts.com, we test all kinds of gift ideas.
You got your ribeye steak, your T-bone steak, your corn fed steak. Excellent gift.
How's a guy supposed to get any work done around here?
You got your cube steak? It's a bad gift. We don't do cube steak.
So when you're looking for just the right gift, come to Gifts.com. Tell us about the people you're shopping for, and we'll tell you about some great gifts. Gifts.com, just the perfect gifts.
Now it's 53 days and counting till the year 2000. And CBS News is trying to give you a hard news look ahead to the 21st century, to some of what you may expect. Some people predict the next century will begin with a bang, a cascade of Y2K bug computer crashes and chaos. White House officials today unveiled a $40 million Y2K problem operations center, just in case. Pretty expensive operations center. So is there really a ticking Y2K time bomb? 60 Minutes correspondent Steve Croft is on the case for you on the countdown to 2000.
If you ask the question, where will the Y2K computer bug do serious damage, the answer is no one really knows. But everyone agrees on one thing. All is not Y2K ready in the world.
There's the unknown, and there are regions that are simply well behind, apparently not giving it enough attention.
John Pasqua, AT&T's vice president for Y2K, believes the $650 million the telecommunications giant has spent means that the phones will work at home. He's not so sure about some of the rest of the world.
There's still some reluctance on the part of some of these international countries to share their status information with the rest of the world, and that's why we're putting them in the high-risk category.
Places people are worried about? Oil-producing Indonesia, where phones failing or the electricity going out would mean energy shortages. Russia, where Y2K-related airport problems could back up air traffic in Europe for weeks. In Asia, where problems in manufacturing electronic parts and automotive components could ripple through the U.S. economy.
There's so many links in our global supply chains that all it takes is a few weak links to cause problems.
For several years now, Ed Yardeni, Deutsche Bank's chief economist, has been predicting that Y2K failures equal a 70% chance of a worldwide recession.
As an economist, I am not predicting doomsday. I am not predicting anything that we need to particularly panic about. What I'm predicting is a recession.
When you say it's not a doomsday scenario, I mean, in this economic climate, when somebody says recession.
Yes. I just think it's naively optimistic to believe that all these systems are going to function just fine and there are going to be no problems.
2, 1, 0. The assumption is that wealthy countries like the United States or Great Britain are ready.
But that's only an assumption. No one really knows what countries have fixed which problems. And the little information that is available is all self-reported, which means it's almost always reassuring and positive, and no one is checking its reliability.
We have found from our work that there will be failures at every economic level in every region of the world.
At the State Department, Inspector General Jacqueline Williams-Bridger says there are more than 80 countries with moderate to high risks of Y2K problems in telecommunications, power generation, and transportation.
Now, they may not be disastrous events, but there will be pockets of failures.
We have links to all the various countries.
At the World Bank-funded International Y2K Cooperation Center in Washington, Director Bruce McConnell worries about networks of computers that may fail gradually, not all at once.
My worldwide assessment is that not very much will happen on the 1st of January or the 2nd of January, that it will be somewhat of a non-event, and that after that we will start to see failures in business systems which will come about over days and weeks.
The bottom line is, you don't really know how this is going to turn out, do you?
Absolutely not.
And back at AT&T, they know that Y2K won't be a one-night stand. SWAT teams will be on call from December 31st on into the first weeks of January.
With Y2K, it's one of those unique opportunities where you're not done until you run out of time.
With billions already spent on the computer bug, this New Year's Eve, U.S. companies admit they'll be waiting to see what in the world will go wrong and where. Steve Croft, CBS News, on the countdown to 2000.
And that's part of our world. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. See you again tomorrow. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the Internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
The #1 news